place are actually them running experiments trying to harness the powers of life and death. They are literally playing God. I mean, they have totems of undying. They are the only ones to have totems of the undying. And we see that these things work. I mean, they certainly managed to keep us alive. Plus, we know that magic is a real thing in Minecraft. Obviously, in the game, we're able to enchant weapons and armor using lapis lazuli. So Minecraft is making the case that lapis lazuli has some sort of mystical. All the way to ancient Sumeria have also believed that lapis had some sort of mystical quality. The Sumerians believed that lapis held the souls of gods. And all of that seems pretty darn relevant considering where lapis lazuli is hidden in the woodland mansions. While it's not obvious, there is a block of lapis hidden in the center of the giant wool illager heads that decorate the entire building, implying there to be this close connection between illagers and this magical stone. I mean, in the statues, it's literally right where their brain should be. Now, I cannot stress enough how bad of an idea it would be to actually inject lapis lazuli into your head. There's nearly a 100% chance of medical complication and a 0% chance of you getting magical powers, but in the Minecraft universe, it seems like the odds are a bit more in your favor considering the evoker's magical powers. Could all of these statues be implying that evokers have lapis literally implanted into their skulls, thereby giving them their magical abilities? Probably not. If that were the case, you'd expect them to have some chance of dropping a shard of lapis or something. But the lapis stone being in the middle of the statue's head does imply that maybe experiments with lapis and magic were another thing that got these villagers kicked out and turned into the exiled illagers. Which brings us back to their experiments on life and death. Because here's the thing, I don't think it stops with just the Ravagers. I believe that there's something far more sinister and threatening going on in the woodland mansions that ties together all of these clues while also explaining what happened to get the illagers thrown out of society. In some rooms in woodland mansions, there are piles and piles of blue and cyan wool. Okay, it sounds pretty mundane, but consider the specific coloring of this wool. Blue and cyan. They're the same colors as default Steve's clothing. His cyan shirt, his blue pants. I mean, there is really no other reason to have stacks of blue and cyan wools together in a room. It is such a specific item in such a specific set of two colors. I mean, sure, elsewhere in the woodland mansion, the illagers use blue wool sometimes as carpet to make fake beds or maps, but they also use yellow and red wool for those same purposes, and we see none of that in any of the rooms in the woodland mansion, and yet we see rooms dedicated to just blue and cyan wool. They are specifically Steve-colored wool piles. Steve and zombie colored wool piles. Remember, this is a cult with at least some control over life and death. And in the Minecraft world, we see snowmen built with 2 snow blocks and a pumpkin. We see iron golems made by creating a T out of iron and then plopping a pumpkin head on top of that. Now we have ourselves a cult of illagers who create giant statues in their homes and sometimes even embed lapis lazuli into them. So it's not so much of a stretch to think that they could maybe stack some blue and cyan wool together, plop a pumpkin on top, and hope to create a new Steve. But you see, that's where things probably went terribly wrong. An evoker using a totem of the undying must have tried to make this lump of wool come to life, only to create something twisted and something hungry. The first zombie. As the first zombies came out and started biting villagers, it's probably no surprise that the weird cultists who created it got booted from society and ended up settling huge distances away in dark and mysterious woodland mansions where they could continue their experiments in private. And now, those same cultists live in harmony with their creations. The illagers now share their mansions with creepers and skeletons and, of course, their own zombified creations, be they built from wool and skeletons, be they built from wool and dead bodies. So now we know why the illagers exist, what makes them fundamentally different from their villager cousins, and why the two populations separated to begin with. Their big evil plot that's been alluded to by the development team since their inclusion in the game is to create their own life, create their own version of Steve using a combination of wool and magic. But in the process, they created zombies. They're like the Elric brothers of Minecraft. Who knew that it would take more than a few bits of wool to make a human? And now everyone in the Minecraft world has to pay a price. And that, my friends, is the secret of the Woodland Mansion. But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching. And hey, while you're here looking for things to binge, since I know you're probably not at work or school, watch the other 6 episodes that we've done on the Minecraft lore. Link is right there on screen as we speak. I'm telling you, each of these theories is awesome. They're some of my favorite theories that we've ever concocted. content on this channel. Minecraft is shockingly rich in its lore, and there's a lot of stuff here that we can really gnaw on to try and piece together the story. So check them out, let me know what you think, and make sure you subscribe. Buttons on screen for that as well, because you know that there's gonna be more where this came from. We're getting close to putting together that overarching theory. I don't know about you, but I can start to see some big themes come together across these theories, and I think they are all telling one story.
The first time I tried to quit vaping, I told myself that it was like a mountain that I had to climb over. And once I got to the other side, it would be clear. But I couldn't make it over. What really got me to quit was my little sister. I saw her vaping. So I was back in the mountain, but this time, she was up there with me. It's weird what you can do for others that you won't do for yourself.
And one of the most anticipated things in this update is the addition of Netherite. Now, Netherite is essentially a level up from Diamond. The gear is better than Diamond. Everything like that is better than Diamond. And obviously, all the weapons are more powerful than Diamond as well.
Hello Internet, welcome to Game Theory, the show that reminds you to never waste your diamonds on hoes. Over the last year, we've talked a lot about Minecraft lore on the channel, from the history of the Enderman, to the Wither, to the Drowned, to the Piglins, to the Illagers. Like I said, there has been a lot of lore that we've been piecing together for this game, but today, I wanted to talk about something a bit different, something that came as a part of the huge update to the Nether that just happened back in June. You see, we finally got ourselves a brand new ore, Netherite. And that alone would be a pretty big deal. I mean, the last ore actually introduced into the game was Nether Quartz back in 2013, and the last ore that people actually cared about introduced into the game was Emerald back in 2012. Sure, ores over the years have gotten themselves texture upgrades here and there, but nothing new has really shaken up Minecraft's mineral hierarchy for the better part of 7 years. But that's not all that makes Netherite special. Not only is Netherite new, it completely changes the game. To quote from the official Nether update page, discover Netherite, a powerful new material that makes diamond look like cobblestone. Get dunked on, Diamond. There's a new stone in town, and it is butt ugly. But it is rare and powerful and can be used to upgrade your diamond-based gear so it's stronger, more durable, and can float in lava, so yay? After 10 years of diamond domination, it being the uncontested champion ore in Minecraft, the cyan blue stone that defined this game in its visual style, the ore that everyone ran around to show off their mining and crafting skills, it's now fallen off the top of the heap. The stone that launched 1,000 cosplay and parody videos is, as the update says, no better than cobblestone. It was a huge shock to the Minecraft community when it was announced, but not to me. You see, I've known for a while that diamond tools aren't really all they're cracked up to be, and that for years the Minecraft community has been overlooking the true best material of the game, one that has been hiding in plain sight since the very beginning. So step aside, Netherite, hand over your crown, Diamond. There's a new, old ore that's top of the class that all the real miners and crafters are going to be running around with starting today. Today, we are flipping the ore hierarchy on its head to show you what the leadest of gamers should really be using as they roam around the Minecraft overworld. On its face, it's easy to understand why Diamond's been the reigning champion of the Minecraft world for a decade. Diamonds have this air of being super rare and super valuable. In the game, this is absolutely true. And while it isn't quite so true in real life, it's actually all a bunch of marketing hype and artificially limited supply lines by the Diamond Cartel to boost prices and demands, which is a story for another day, or I guess a different channel. But anyway, at the very least, real-life diamonds are marketed to be super rare and super valuable. But perhaps most importantly for our discussion today, diamonds are the hardest material on Earth. No joke, the word diamond actually originates from a Greek word which means unconquerable, and the scale that's used to measure hardness, the Mohs hardness scale invented by mineralogist Friedrich Mohs, was set up as a 10-point scale based on diamond being the maximum 10 out of 10 hardness. Now, technically speaking, there are some chemical compounds that have been found to be harder than diamond. In 2009, scientists discovered that when materials like wurtzite, boron nitride, and lonsdaleite were exposed to certain laboratory conditions, they actually ran a higher hardness rating than diamond. But, you know, that was only under specific laboratory conditions, meaning the claim that nothing is harder than diamond is still one that absolutely holds up. Besides, who would walk around the Minecraft overworld wearing something called wurtzite boron nitride armor? I probably totally would do that. Anyway, all of this is actually a big part of the reason why diamond jewelry is so sought after these days. The jewelry industry has done a good job of taking the hardness of diamond and using it as their marketing catchphrase, diamonds are forever. And so it's the stone that you should give someone if you truly do love them forever. What is this, tanzanite? Get your crappy tanzanite out of here. So the TLDR here is that diamonds are really hard, and that hardness makes them incredibly useful for stuff like mining. And I'm not just talking about in Minecraft, but in real life where diamond tools are used to cut through hard rock surfaces. The drill tips for massive industrial drills, or heck, even some of your basic drill bits at home, are covered in diamonds. They're also great because drilling through rock creates a ton of friction, and friction creates heat, enough heat to melt or deform a hard metal tip. But a diamond covered tip can deal with that sort of heat just fine because diamond has an extremely high melting point. So if diamonds are good enough for real-world miners using industrial equipment, then why am I making a theory poo-pooing them? Surely they must be good enough for an intrepid Minecraft adventurer, right? Well, no. Diamonds are indeed harder than any other substance on Earth, or I suppose in the overworld of Minecraft prior to the introduction of netherite, and their ability to withstand high heat is useful for many applications, but just because diamonds are harder doesn't mean that they're tougher. Is diamond the hardest? Absolutely. Is diamond the toughest? No, not at all. And you see, that's the real issue here. Toughness is a real scientific term defined as a material's ability to resist fracturing when force is applied, and the two are actually inversely related. For an easy demonstration of this, consider two bottles, one made of glass and the other made of plastic. Clearly, the plastic bottle isn't as hard as the glass bottle. If you squeeze, you can probably deform the plastic, and it hurts way less to get hit on the head with a plastic bottle than a glass one. The glass bottle is therefore tougher, right? Well, not so fast. Think about what happens if you drop both these bottles on the floor or throw them against a wall. The plastic bottle will probably bounce around a bit, but mostly be unharmed. The glass bottle, on the other hand, is way more likely to shatter when it's dropped. The glass may be harder, but the plastic is tougher. The harder something is, the more stiff it is, therefore the easier it is to shatter. All this to say, diamond is not unbreakable. Apologies to all you JoJo stans out there. In fact, for as hard as it is, it's actually shockingly easy to break. Just look on YouTube and there are dozens of videos of people shattering diamonds with basic hammers. Hardness comes with a trade-off. Diamonds can take a bit of force before they deform, but when they do deform, everything shatters at once. What this means is that diamonds are great for some things, but a terrible option for others. For instance, in the real world, diamonds are great for cutting, so that might make you think that they'd be ideal for cutting down a tree, and you would be absolutely right if you were using your Minecraft diamonds to coat a saw blade. But as any Minecraft player will tell you, trees aren't something that you saw down, they're something that you chop down. And a lot of the cutting force of a chop comes from the impact, something that your purely diamond axe head won't be taken too kindly to. A typical axe-swinging person will strike a tree with a blow equal to about 80 pounds of force. And given the fact that a swing of less than 5 pounds of force can be enough to shatter a diamond, it's pretty safe to say that when your diamond axe head hits the tree won't be the one doing the breaking. And we know for a fact that diamond is the only thing inside of that axe head because we see the recipe for crafting it right there displayed for us on screen. But okay, what about mining? We talked earlier about diamonds being used on industrial drill bits, helping them cut through the earth, so at the very least, the diamond pickaxe should be a viable tool for that half of the Minecraft equation, except it's not. Because of how easily it shatters, diamond is terrible for smashing things, which is a big problem in the world of Minecraft mining, where you break through rock surfaces by smacking away at them with a pickaxe made of pure diamond. A few poorly placed axe hits and you've shattered your blinged out pick to dust. The reason it works for real world mining operations is because you're not smacking the rocks with the diamond, you're rubbing the rocks against the diamond. It's like really intense, really expensive sandpaper. And of course, the idea of diamond armor is just right out the window. After all, an arrow, which in the real world would travel at a velocity of around 225 feet per second, or 69 meters a second, is gonna have enough kinetic payload to deal damage to your armor. And as I mentioned before, the problem with diamond is that if its structure changes just a little bit, it's gonna break and it's gonna shatter. Again, the problem with diamond is that it can't deform to dent or scratch. Anything with enough force to bend it will break it, including shooting a well-placed skeleton's arrow. So real talk here, diamond tools and armor, never that good to begin with. But at least now we have ourselves netherite, the new strongest material in the game. The fact that creating netherite equipment requires you to first have diamond equipment implies that netherite armor is at least partly diamond. Maybe it's some kind of diamond netherite composite that makes both materials stronger when fused together? Unfortunately, that's probably not the case. While metals can be mixed with other metals to form more powerful alloys, diamond don't play nice with others. Again, it's a problem with its hardness. The things that make diamonds so hard is also what makes them difficult to mix with other materials. Diamonds are chemically unreactive, which is a great thing if you want a wedding ring that you can take into the shower with you, but a terrible thing if you're trying to mix it together with another material to make that diamond less brittle. Which means that the all-powerful netherite armor in Minecraft is just diamond armor with a coating of netherite. That would explain why the color when you upgrade the armor goes from this sparkly diamond to a dull shade of whatever this is supposed to be. Seriously, if this is supposed to be the prestige armor, it should look more blingy. But not only is netherite armor a visual downgrade, it's also just a terrible functional idea. If all you're doing is covering diamond tools with a layer of whatever netherite's supposed to be, well, that means that you're getting none of the benefits of diamond while keeping all of the disadvantages of diamond. Even if the netherite coating on your diamond armor is some kind of wonder material that has all the good properties of a strong metal and bends like good effective armor should, the diamond plate on your chest is still gonna crack if the netherite layer gets bent. And then the sharp diamond that's only good for cutting isn't gonna be facing the enemy, it's gonna be pressed against your body. Not only is diamond armor a bad idea to start with, but taking it and then covering it with a layer of netherite coating is an even worse idea that takes the lame idea of diamond armor and actually makes it potentially more dangerous. If that netherite stuff is so good, just use that to make your armor and tools. Stop messing around with all the brittle diamond stuff. Or maybe the real solution is to go back to basics. The ideal armor, or heck tool for that matter, should be made of a material that's strong and tough. By strong, I mean the scientific term to describe how much stress a material can take before it deforms, and tough, how much they can resist fracturing after they've been cracked. How about gold? The old butter armor. Well, gold does have itself a high toughness. It's what's known as a soft metal, but it has a low strength due to how easily it bends. Nope, as it turns out, our old standby iron does great on both of these scales. It's not too soft like gold, but it also doesn't break easily like diamond. Of all the ores available in the game, iron is gonna be the actual best choice. If you want it even stronger, hop back on that crafting table and add a little bit more carbon to that iron, and you get yourself steel. Or at least you would in the real world. And honestly, you should be able to craft steel in Minecraft too, considering coal exists in this game, and coal is just a big old lump of carbon. Not to mention the fact that steel is already shown to exist in this universe in the form of flint and steel. I know a lot of mods make steel an actual ore in the game, but the game itself should have it be accessible, and it would be stronger than literally every other ore currently in the game. I know what the game mechanics say, but my true loyalty has got to be to real science. Maybe one of these days we'll get a patch that makes the crafting system more scientifically accurate, and the most exciting part of the crafting will be deciding whether you want a steel alloy with 3% carbon or 6% carbon. As for all those diamonds, well, maybe you should be using them on your hose after all. But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching. And hey, while diamond might not be the best thing to use for chopping down trees, isn't that kind of a good thing? We'd all like to be saving some money and not having to shell out for 1,000-carat diamond axes. Probably for the best. In the hurricane of uncertainty that is 2020, saving a little here and there is never going to be a bad thing. Which is why we have our sponsor for today's episode, Honey. You've heard me talking about it for years. I've pretty much had Honey installed on my phone and all my computery devices since Nether Quartz was first introduced into Minecraft. Honey is a completely free plugin for any device you like. Phone, tablet, desktop, wherever you shop online, Honey is there to help you save money. Honey automatically scans the entire internet to find you coupons, deals, help you track prices, and save you money on stuff that you're buying already. It is literally free money in your pocket. Right now, I'm still looking for things to do without leaving the house this summer, which means that I'm looking for deals on everything from patio furniture to video games. Honey automatically finds me the best deals everywhere, from Lowe's to Target to GameStop. So whatever I'm looking for, I either get a better price than I thought I was gonna get, I get free shipping, 10% off, or I just know for sure that I'm getting the lowest possible price and I'm not throwing my money away to the algorithms that are are intentionally designed to get you to spend more money on them. That is not a joke. The algorithms of some of these websites actually give you prices dependent on how much they know that you're willing to spend rather than the actual price that everyone else is seeing. The uncertainty of 2020 doesn't seem to be letting up anytime soon, but Honey is a small slice of peace of mind when it comes to buying things online, which is the only place anyone is buying things these days. Whatever device you're watching this on right now, Honey is there to save you money. So if you haven't joined the Honey community yet, click the link in the description. Join honey.com/MattPat and download that Honey plugin. It is literally 2 clicks away. And in case you're wondering if Honey does what it really says it does, here's a fun fact for you. Those of you who've already installed Honey using MyLink, just MyLink, we're not talking about number of people on Honey in general, just theorists who are using Honey, they have found over $3.1 million in savings. You guys have saved over $3 million just by using that link. It doesn't slow anything down, it doesn't get in your way, it just saves you money. Click the link, it's joinhoney.com/MattPat, and I'll see you all next week. Here's a mini theory to start things off. Endermites. What are they? They're the smallest hostile mob in the game, and they're one of the very few creatures to possess the moniker of Ender. But to me, the weirdest detail about them is that they don't get along with the Endermen. When confronted with each other, they just attack. It's a strange little detail to include since so many of the other spawns in the end aren't hostile towards one another. But now, consider this. What if Endermites are actually silverfish? The obnoxious little gray bugs that bother you up in the overworld. What if Endermites are just silverfish who went through an end portal, or ate themselves a bunch of forest fruit when they were out there in the end, or whatever? The proof here is actually surprisingly substantial. Cue up the checklist. Point number 1, both Endermites and silverfish are small. In fact, they're both so small that they'll suffocate to death in the sinking depths of soul sand. They're the only 2 hostile mobs where this sort of thing happens. Speaking of their size, not only are they both small, technically speaking, they're exactly the same size. According to Minecraft Gamepedia, both creatures are 0.3 blocks tall and 0.4 blocks wide. In fact, they're so similar that an early design of the Endermites was just that of silverfish. You can just see it right here on screen right now. The design was eventually changed during Java Edition 1.8, but for a while there, the 2 looked almost identical. Now, I know what you're thinking. That just means that they're recolored assets. It doesn't necessarily make them the same creature, but think again. To understand exactly why, we need to look at the enchantment Bane of Arthropods. If we're being honest, Bane of Arthropods is pretty lame as far as enchantments go. Sure, it increases your attack damage, but it only works when fighting against one of 4 very specific mobs in the game, and 2 of those mobs are spiders, so 50% are supposedly diverse creatures in this universe, and those 2 happen to be silverfish and endermites. Meaning that at the very least, they're in the same taxonomic phylum. AP Biology, what? But here's the kicker. The only way to get to the end is through portals that are hidden in strongholds deep underground, right? No big surprise there. But look into how strongholds are generated and you notice something interesting. They always have to have a portal. That makes sense since they're the primary place that you find the portal to the end game. But the 2 features required of that portal room, obviously the portal, but also a silverfish spawner. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you, but this to me reads like the criminals returning to the scene of the crime. So why don't Endermen and Endermites get along? Well, if my last theory was correct about Endermen being an ancient race of builders, then one of their old foes would have been the silverfish. Silverfish who are in the perfect position to leap through end portals at the same time as these ancient builders. And so now, hundreds of generations and 1 end portal later, that battle is still being waged. New names, new faces, but the same old enemies. But hey, that's just a theory. A mini theory! And I'm just getting started.